Okay, so I'm recording. So how is everybody this morning? Does anybody have any wins they'd like to share out of the gate?
Sure, I have a win that I wasn't even expecting today. Um, I was it was about 9:30 and I got a phone call from a lady that I haven't seen for probably over a year, and she asked me if I would be interested in being her walking partner in the mornings.
Oh, I love that. This is
Great.
the law of attraction, girl, right? At its
Oh,
finest.
that's what I thought. And I said, sure. She says she does it usually about 9 o'clock, and she walks her dog, but she'd like to have somebody walk with her. So I said, yeah, I'd be interested. I said, I'm not sure I could do it every day at 9 o'clock, but that's a win.
That's
Yeah.
wonderful. That's wonderful. And hopefully your weather stays good.
Yeah. Well, it's not, but it's okay.
Awesome. Well, I mean, you're in Iowa, I think you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Western Iowa, Southwest Iowa.
So hopefully it'll get a little bit nicer.
Yeah. It's cloudy and cool today, and we're supposed to get rain again. So, and that's why I did my exercise this morning inside, because I thought, well, if I go out, it's going to rain, but it didn't so far. So it's fine.
Well, congratulations on that. That is a fabulous, fabulous, fabulous win.
I
Well,
think it is. I'm excited. So,
Anybody,
Tammy, oh,
anybody else?
yes, I made a loaf of bread out of almond flour for the first time in 50 years, and it was delicious. And of
yes.
course, I'm past my 12 weeks, so um, it was great, and it was all with approved ingredients.
That's fabulous. And I was just going to comment on that. For those of you in the first 12 weeks, there's different kinds of lower glycemic flours like cassava, coconut, almond flour, those arrowroot, those are kinds of flours, but those are not recommended. The first 12 weeks we're eating super, super clean. They're a little bit processed, but they're certainly much better. So, how did it turn out?
It turned out beautifully, and I added some sunflower seeds because I like a bulky, and it was all I could do to not eat more than one slice with a little butter. But you can
Ooh,
freeze it; it'll last 3 months. And the recipe said 8 slices, but I can probably get 12 slices because it doesn't need to be that thick. And I made a piece of toast with it today. So that was today, and it held up in the toaster. So it's a really good recipe. And if you want, I'll put the link on Facebook.
oh, that'd be perfect. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
Congratulations on that. And you could play with that too. You could add some garlic or rosemary
Yeah,
or sweeten it or, cinnamon or, or
yeah,
blueberries. You could really play with that.
yeah. It's
That's
great
awesome.
bread, and it was fast and easy, by the way, too. It wasn't, you don't have to knead it, you don't have to, all that old school stuff. So
That's
anyway,
cool.
that
Awesome.
was my win.
That's a big one. Bread's a little bit of a kryptonite for me. So
Yeah.
I can find it, and we'll talk about that today, in fact, our perspectives, but I'm always looking for, well, how can I have, in this case, bread and not, completely go off track. So
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that. And I appreciate it if you share it in the group too.
Sorry.
Okay, let's see. Okay, so see if I can find my, oh good, okay. All right, so today we're going to talk about the power of you. This is all mindsets, ways to look at things. So it's just an important piece because we can have all the information we want about what's good for our bodies and health and nutrition and all that. But if we keep getting in our own way and having trouble with craving some of the bad stuff, it's harder to stay on track. So Thank you guys all for being here. And I'll ask you all to mute now because we do have a pretty good sized group. But by all means, feel free to interrupt me, unmute yourself and ask a question as we go along. I'm open to that. Maybe I missed something. And if you're thinking it, somebody else probably is too. So today we got some shout outs. We got some funnies. We'll talk about the power of decision, thought, auto suggestion, and what that even is, organized planning, perspective, faith, and persistence. And then of course, we can do some Q&A at the end as well. So for shout outs, we got Jean, she's down 13 pounds and she's pretty new. Tony is down 25 pounds and he's rocking the house. And Bill down 23 pounds. I think he's on call today. So congratulations to you on that. We've got some new people, Bridget, Kim, Richard, Mary, Yvonne, Beth, Angie, and Heidi. Welcome to all the new people. And then I used to do this on occasion, so I figured I'd bring it back and do a couple of silly funnies before we get started. Let's see. I hit the record button, didn't I? Say yes. Okay. Okay. I discovered a shortcut today. If you put your Fitbit in the dryer, you can get a head start on your steps. Today I had 3,800 before I even put my clothes on. Why did the diet coach send her clients to the paint store? She heard you could get thinner there. Paint thinner, get it? All right, I will move on. I won't quit my day job, I promise. All right, so let's talk about the power of decision. Being specific. Being specific is pretty important. Have you guys ever heard of a vision board where you get pictures of things that you want to create for your life and you put them all over the board and then you look at it and the idea is to feel what it feels like to have already achieved those things. But I will say what I've seen in the past years in doing my own, and usually a lot of times I do it in groups and I've done it with my girlfriends. At the beginning of a year, it's a good time to kind of do those too. But what I've seen is there's the picture of, the new house, there's a picture of the new car, there's a picture of the super fit body wearing the bikini, there's a picture of the new boyfriend or the new girlfriend, there's the picture of the new love, or the picture of the jewelry, the picture of the, Costa Rica or Europe or all these wonderful places we'd like to travel. So imagine you're looking at this vision board, like, where does your brain even go to focus? It's very challenging. So if you are going to create a vision board, I would say kind of narrow it to one or two things and then really focus on what that is, being very, very specific. Give it colors, give it sizes, give it styles. Is it an outfit you're looking to wear? Where it was a dip in front? What color is it? All of that good stuff. The more specific you can be, the better off you are. The brain loves clarity. The more clear you are, the more your brain will go after ways to find that and make that happen. Making decisions quickly. Oh, today's the power ofs pretty much came from this book. Now, this is called Think and Grow Rich, and you're like, what does that have to do with losing weight? Well, I would tell you the principles in this book, you can follow them exactly and use them and just exchange the word money for health or wellness or fitness or whatever that is. But it talks about the successful people, that they studied successful people and they studied not successful people. And the ones that were successful are the ones that made a decision quickly. I mean, eventually, if you have to change course, that decision turned out to not be right, but make your decision quickly. Number 3, dedicate yourself to the efforts of it. If you're very specific, you know what it is that you want to create, you've made the decision what it is, set an intention. That I should have that as another, the power of intention. In fact, I do have a video. It's within the course. I'm not sure which module it is, but I can find out for you if you want. But the power of intention, setting your intention to do something toward your goals attainment will really, really help. Okay. And visualize it daily. This is part of the success formula. I've talked about that several weeks ago, but getting a clear picture in your head and visualizing that daily. We're going to touch on that a little bit more, but visualizing it daily helps create, it's a thought, and which creates feelings, which creates behaviors, which creates results. So it's a really good way to get the ball rolling to start training that subconscious mind. So here we go, the power of thought. And there it is, my little triangles here. Oh. All right, so thoughts create feelings, feelings create behaviors, and behaviors reinforce the thoughts. So neurons that fire together wire together. So we have, they say, between 60,000 thoughts a day. And a lot of them are the same thoughts we had yesterday and last week and last month and sometimes last year. That's why we keep doing the same things over and over again. That's why we keep getting in these loops. That's why we join a weight loss program. We lose a few pounds, but we go back to our old stinking thinking, the old ways of thinking. So we've got to create new neuron pathways. And one of those ways to do that is to do those visualizations, adding some feeling to it. Like I said, thoughts create feelings and feelings create behaviors. But neurons that fire together, wire together. This is no different than going into the gym and doing bicep curls. You're creating a stronger bicep. Every time you visualize the thing that you want, write it, you write it down and read it a couple of times a day. But really good in there visualizing it. You're creating new neurons and new neural pathways. It used to be that they thought that once you had a memory of something, it was there forever. But we can actually change. And when I say memories, it's just the repeated thoughts that we always have. We can change that same loop and we can start to graduate. We start to think like a fit person. Practice success in your imagination. And when I say success, so for example, weight loss is why you're here, or getting your gut right is why you're here. You got to focus on the why. Why do you want all that? But it's not enough to just say, okay, I'm going to wear those clothes. I'm going to have the energy. One of the tips for this one to practice training your subconscious mind is in your mind's eye, visualize yourself doing the things that would bring you closer to your goal. So even if it's things that you don't love, like you don't love meal prep or you don't love exercise or things of that nature, if you see yourself doing those things on a regular basis, it becomes your new normal. And that way, when you go to do it, it feels more normal. Because right now I'm saying, hey guys, this is how we meal prep. We just talked about all that stuff last week. And it feels really uncomfortable and it feels really awkward and it doesn't feel like yourself. And it just feels, I don't want to do this. But here we go. Let me see if I can draw it for you. So here, you're not gonna be able to see that. Okay, so here's your comfort zone inside this circle, and success is out here. The way to make this happen, what I'm talking about, practicing your success in your imagination and the steps, is we've got to widen your comfort zone. So now, if you've seen yourself meal prep and you've looked up, putting your energy in all this, I'll talk about that next, but putting your energy into that, the more you do that, the more it starts to feel comfortable. And when meal prepping becomes comfortable, you're likely going to stick with it and you're likely going to do it, and you will absolutely see the results. Bring some feelings to it. When we practice our visualization, and when you imagine yourself, maybe you're looking at yourself in the mirror in the new version, in the size whatever you've decided you'd like to be, or a certain goal weight that you would like to be. What does that feel like? How successful do you feel? How proud of yourself do you feel? How energized do you feel? Because the more feelings that we can create, like it shows in this little diagram on the right corner, feelings create the behaviors. When we set a thought out, say, oh, I'd like to get healthy, you're basically sending that request out into the universe. You're asking the universe for this thing that you say that you want. And then we practice the steps in our mind so that we can practice them in real life. If we, by evoking the feelings of having that success, it's like the magnet that actually draws that request to you. You're actually attracting it to you. And that's a little bit of the law of attraction and how the law of attraction works. But the feelings piece is a really, really, really important piece. It instills the belief system. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But belief is probably one of the most powerful motivators that we have. With every single solitary thing we do, it's based on something that we believe. Because what's my best example? Like, we know chocolate or candy isn't going to take us to the goals that we want, but we believe it's going to make us feel better. And that belief is a little bit stronger, which is why we go off and we have that bad thing. So by practicing yourself doing the things that you should be doing, by practicing seeing yourself already having succeeded in the thing that you're trying to create, this is how the subconscious begins to believe it. It really sets the reticular activating system to go out and look for more ways to make it happen. But this is the only way, in my mind, the only way to create a strong belief system so that you can continue to stay on the course. Okay. Oh, I lost my thing. Oh, there. Oops. Okay, so the power of auto-suggestion. That's also, it's also in the book. I would say another word for it would be, I don't want to say brainwashing. It's more like self-hypnosis, really, is what I would say it is. But autosuggestion is self-suggestion. It is the communication between the part of the mind where the conscious thought takes place and that which serves as a seed of action to the subconscious mind. Napoleon Hill is the author of that book. The self-suggestion is the bridge that connects the conscious mind to the subconscious mind. Let's see. Okay, so how do we do that? So the first step is to see yourself already in possession of the thing that you say that you want, of the desired outcome. So it's got to be present tense. Because if you say, in the future, I'm going to lose the weight. In the future, this is going to happen. I'm going to make more money in the future. In the future, I'm going to have a great relationship. In the future, I'm going to open up that business. In the future, you're teaching your subconscious mind that it's not here right now. And if you resonate with what it feels like to have already achieved it, you're raising your vibrations to attract what you're feeling. Again, it's evoking that sense of emotion. So we want to imagine it as if it's already happened, not someday or in 3 months from now. No, it's already happened now. It's like you 3 months from now looking back. Number 2, experience the event in your mind using all 5 senses. So if you're trying to study for a test and or you're trying to pass this class and you know you have to study, maybe you see yourself working, burning the midnight oil. Maybe you smell the coffee in the coffee pot because you know you're staying up all night. And no, I'm not suggesting you have coffee. This is just an example. But this is how you convince the subconscious mind that this is actually really happening. It won't feel real at first, but it's everything that is ever been created started in someone's imagination. It started in someone's mind first. Even you signing up for the program, you must have thought about, I really want to do something to get healthier. I really need to do something to get off all these medications. So it started in your mind, and then it became on your radar. Your reticular activating system started looking for, it's like on a radar, looking for ways to make that happen. And that's why you're here on this call today. And it, like I said, if you write it down, step one, get clarity, but write it down. In the book, they tell you to read it 2 times a day. You want to read it first thing in the morning and the last thing at night before you go to sleep. The reason for that is because as you're just dozing off or as you're just waking up, you're in the theta state. So your mind, your subconscious mind is the most, susceptible, susceptible, susceptible. Somebody say it.
Susceptible?
Thank you. I think I need to take speech class again. Oh, gosh. Okay, so the hypnotic or the subconscious mind adopts the idea of what it is that you're trying to create. So it is just more susceptible. I said it. And that's the best way to start shifting. And that way you set your tone, you set your subconscious mind to come up with solutions while you sleep. And then when you wake up, you're setting the tone of things that you're going to look at. Remember, step one, we're going to set an intention to go out and do something towards the attainment of our goal each day. If we're reading our goal first thing in the morning, now we're kind of setting that tone for the day to go out and do and experience some of the things that we need to do to get to our goals. All right, the power of organized planning. This is really important too. We can say we want to do, have the weight loss, get healthy, open the business, write the book, whatever the thing we want to achieve. But we've got to figure out a plan how to do it. And there's a lot of information out there in the world. There's lots of YouTubes, there's lots of Googles, there's lots of different things. There's lots of information, lots of conflicting information. So finding some organized planning is really important. So even by joining this group each week, some of you join all 4 of the classes that I offer each week. Some of you are joining most of them. Some of you are only watching the replays, but either way, if you're participating, you're hearing what other people have to say. As a group, we figured out how to make certain things. People chime in with their ideas on how to make something taste better and keep it within the parameters of the program. So it's not just me or Dr. Infantino, or maybe you follow another expert in health and wellness and fitness or weight loss or whatever. But these mastermind groups, and what they talk about in this book too, is you don't have to know all the things. When he was studying Henry Ford, he wasn't good at accounting. So he had an accountant within his group. He also had a marketer within his group. You didn't have to be good at everything, but you get people in the group that are good at something, and then we all can contribute. And that's how you're going to, and also for support as well. You want to do some of these things daily. You want to have certain things that you do weekly, and maybe certain things that you do monthly. Maybe you meet with your coach monthly, or you're organizing your meals weekly, certain ways, whether you're doing something for yourself or as a group. Daily, you're journaling your food, or you're planning your day's food, whatever that case may be. Or you're going to the Facebook group and you're listening to the recordings of these. Or daily, you're looking for new recipes. Or daily, you're looking for new exercise ideas. That could be weekly as well. But either way, having kind of a little bit of a system, like I said, step one, the brain loves clarity. If I say I'm going to exercise next week or this week, and if I don't say it's going to be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 p.m., and Monday's going to be yoga, and Wednesday's going to be legs and back, and Friday's going to be chest and core, I'm not very specific with the times, what I'm going to do, and what that even looks like. Chances are it's going to be Sunday, and I'm gonna look around and go, oh, I didn't do any exercise, I forgot. But if you have very specific daily, weekly plans, you'll do it. Enrolling in an expert, you guys have pretty much done that. You've signed up with Dr. Infantino. You come to these calls. We're not the only ones. There's plenty out there. If there's someone that you resonate with, someone in your age group, or speaks to your gender, or speaks in a way that you just resonate with, listen to them, ask them questions, follow their YouTubes or their podcast or articles or whatever that is. But follow the experts, follow the people that have what you want. All right. The power of perspective. So I just thought some of these visuals were cute. So on the left, some of you might see a face, and some of you might see a silhouette of two faces looking at each other. And you can't unsee either of those things, but you might have seen one or the other first, but it's just a perspective, right? And then you got these jailbirds in the middle. One guy, all he can see is the bars, and the other guy, he sees the beautiful mountains and the trees outside the bars. It's all a perspective. The boat and the land, that was another one. The perspective, we can take all kinds of different perspectives. So I thought I'd give you some perspective shifts. So instead of like in the world of dieting and eating right and getting healthy and eating clean, instead of saying, don't ask what you can take away. Oh, now I'm going to eat less of all this stuff. What I can't have. Focus on what you can add. And one of the examples was, okay, so say you have a cheat meal and you're going out for a pizza, but if you add a big salad to that and you eat that big salad first, the chances of you eating less pizza is going to serve is likely. Focusing on what you can have. What can I have? How can I make this taste better? How can I make this go quicker? How can I make this easier? But focusing on what you can have. There are so many foods that we can have. The list of foods that you can have is bigger and is a longer list in our book than on the list of things to avoid, if you think about it. So there's a lot of stuff we can. We focus on the stuff we can't have because that's the stuff we used to eat, or we were used to eating all that all the time or often. But let's focus on what you can. It's going to change your perspective. Some people say it's, let's see. Focus, let's see. Okay, so another way, instead of, oh, this is a lifestyle, I have to change everything about my life. And you follow the fit person and they're going to the gym 6 days a week and they're meal prepping and they're only eating steamed broccoli and grilled chicken and a half a cup of brown rice. And that's all they're doing. And they're, it's so strict and so, but that's their life. I would say focus on what's the least amount you can do, but still see the success. What's the least amount you can do to get the necessary results that you're looking for, rather than changing everything. What's one little thing you can do? Changing it to little steps. Okay, so say I need to lose 50 pounds. If I look at that, I would say change the perspective. How do I lose 1 pound? How do I lose 1 pound? Well, it's 3,500 calories is what it is. So how would I, in a week's time, if I took out 500 calories a day, that's a pound. How do I do 500 calories a day? I could work out 250 calories extra and eat 250 calories less. That sounds a lot more doable than trying to lose 50 pounds. So think about the smaller, teeny, tiny little steps versus the big change my whole life. It's all or nothing. I have to change everything. I have to get up at 4 a.m. and work out. Unless that's what you want to do, think of it as what's the least amount I can do and go from there. And what are the teeny tiny little steps? Another thing, another shift in perspective, you can focus on the why. Why did you sign up for this program versus the scale? I get this a lot. A lot of people message me and they say, Tami, I've done everything right, but the scale didn't move. If we're focused on the scale and focused on the scale, but at the same time, she'll say, yeah, but my clothes fit better. I feel better. I see a difference when I look at myself in the mirror. Guess what? That's why you signed up for the program. Nobody on this entire planet, unless you take a picture of it and put it on Facebook or social media, knows what your bathroom scale says. Nobody, right? So who cares what that scale says? If you are feeling better, if your clothes are fitting better, that is the why. Just keep, like I said, those little tiny steps. Stay the course. Do one little tiny step at a time. Little tiny steps. You will feel better. Your body composition will change. And by the way, if you are working out and you are doing strength training, which you all know I'm a fan of, which is, well, I'll talk about on our next, whenever I talk about exercise. But strength training actually, once you build lean muscle, will turn the dial up on your calorie burning. It's another way to burn that extra 250 calories extra a day by building lean muscle. But if you're building lean muscle weighs a lot more than fat. So the scale might not move, but you're losing body fat. That's way more important. That's far more important. If you notice, if you're measuring yourself, your inches around your waist is going to be smaller. Strength training can specifically help you reduce belly fat. It just is. So really focusing in on why you're here, not the number on the scale, would be another way to shift your perspective. All right. So the power of faith. We talked about auto-suggestion a little bit earlier, about visualizing and the repeat, which is basically what auto-suggestion is. You're doing that over and over and over again, and you're doing it with intention, right? You're setting an intention. Do it in the morning, do it at night before sleep. But by doing that, the subconscious mind does not know the difference between real and imagined. So as you're imagining yourself having the results, you're imagining yourself going to the gym, you're imagining yourself picking up a heavier weight than you did last week. You're imagining yourself enjoying a healthy meal. You're imagining yourself opening up your fridge and seeing a bunch of prepped meals. You're imagining yourself doing all of those things. It really trains the subconscious mind to believe that that is your truth. That is your truth. And so once you believe that is truth, your subconscious mind is very ego. It's very ego. It wants to go out and make it more true. So it'll look for ways to make that more true. Believe you can, and you will get what you want. A mind dominated with positive emotion becomes a favorable abode for the state of mind known as faith. And faith is induced by autosuggestion. If you are practicing in your mind's eye and in your emotions, achieving as if it's already happened, it can't be in the future. It has to be, I see it, I have it now. This is how we train that subconscious mind to believe that you have it. And so again, it raises your vibration up to that already having it. We attract what we are, not what we want. So in our mind, we are fit and we are healthy. We are attracting more of that. So I hope that makes sense. When I was trying to move to Arizona, I had no job. I knew not a soul out here. I didn't know my way around. I'd never even been to Scottsdale, never even been here. But I fantasized about it, and I just kept looking up all the things. Real estate in Arizona, the jobs in Arizona, the dancing in Arizona, because that's my hobby. Where am I going to dance? The singles groups in California, because I'm single. What are the jobs like? What are the salaries for the jobs I would qualify? So the more I practice seeing myself having, doing, being, experiencing all those things, it was real in my mind. There was no doubt I was moving to Arizona by myself, with myself, for myself. But there was, it erased all doubt. Doubt is the destroyer of success. So it's so important that we practice the autosuggestion to get that faith, to get that true belief, so that we can have the thing that we want. Okay, the power of persistence. And I like this little success. And this on the right, this black and white, arrow, and then the squiggly one. This just reminds me of like musicians. And I think of musicians that they played in smoky bars like for 10 years and, to four people in the audience and people booing them off stage and all the things, to all of a sudden, now they're playing at Country Thunder or Stagecoach, in front of millions of people. And oh my God, they rose to success overnight. Well, nobody talks about those 10 years they were playing in those smoky bars. We are going to fall down. We are going to get booed off stage, probably by our own self sometimes. Sometimes we self-sabotage, but never give up. So I'm, for the moment, going to stop my share because I already had this written out, so I'm just going to go ahead and share because it makes the most sense. Okay. This is why persistence is super, super important. Some of you maybe have seen this diagram, but it doesn't hurt to repeat it. So we've got step 1, we sign up for the program. We are super, super excited. And this is what we call uninformed optimism. We're so excited, but we don't know what it is we're signing up for. We don't know what we're going to have to do. We just know we're going to get it. We want it. We're excited about it. And that's just the way it is. Then we sign up and we start to do the meal prep and looking at gyms and exercising or moving the body. And we're getting a little frustrated. Well, this isn't so easy. What happened? I just thought this was going to be easy because I was just so excited. Well, that's step 2. It's called informed pessimism. And you start to get discouraged because it's just not, it doesn't look like the way you thought it was going to look, but nothing ever does. Buying a house doesn't look like the way you thought it would look. Anything we do doesn't ever look that way. And then sometimes we get down in here, we get real discouraged. The scale didn't move because we're worried about the number on the scale rather than the reason why we started. And if you can see on the bottom there, we've got step 3, that's called the valley of despair. And unfortunately, a lot of us do not get out of that valley. This is where some people quit. This is where we quit. And the sad thing is, and trust and believe, guys, I've gotten to the valley of despair and I've quit things many times. I'm 100% sure if you're human, we've all done that. So don't, you're just as human as we all are. So the problem with valley of despair is that then we quit, we talk ourselves, we convince ourselves that this is too hard and we quit. But a few days or weeks later, we go, oh, I really wanted that thing. I really wanted to get off my medication. I really don't want to take, blood pressure medication or diabetes medication. So guess what? You sign up for a different program and you're excited again. You signed up for a personal trainer. You signed up for Weight Watchers. You did the thing, whatever it was. And here we go again, and it's a vicious circle. So the only way out of step 3 is to take teeny tiny little steps. So even though it feels hard sometimes, there's days when it's going to feel hard. What is the next right thing to do? So right now it's 12:39, well, at least here in Arizona. What's the next thing? So for me, I haven't had lunch yet. So for me, it would be lunch. So all I have to do is eat a good, healthy lunch. That's the only thing I have to do. Think of the smallest, teeniest, tiniest little steps. And that's the only way up. You cannot go uphill without some kind of steps. So if you take just the next thing after that, maybe after work, I might go to the gym, or I might take a yoga class in my living room with YouTube on, or whatever the case may be. And then I take another step, and then I take another step. And then you talk to your coach, And she reminds you, that's step 4, this is called informed optimism. She reminds you, hey, you've lost 20 pounds, or you've lost 10 pounds, you've lost, 14 inches, you're off your medication, or your doctor lowered your medication, or you're fitting into your favorite jeans, and you're like, oh yeah, that's right. You're not where you wanted to be, but guess what? You're realizing, you're optimistic now. You're realizing, hey, I didn't do so bad. I actually did have some success. And now you're getting excited again. You keep on going one little baby step at a time. And there you have your success. And then you reevaluate. Maybe you want to step it up. Maybe you want to have a fitness goal. Maybe you want to climb a certain mountain or achieve a certain, half marathon or something. I've never done that, but something wild and crazy like that. Or something. Maybe it's certain weights you want to lift, or a certain dance you want to learn, something else. Change it up. Get another one. And then, but when we get into that valley of despair, just know if you hang in there, you will see it. Okay. All right, so we've got our recap here. Make a decision and be really, really, really clear about it. What it is, what do you really want? What do you really want? Piece number 2, your thought. This is your energy. Like where you put your energy, where focus goes, energy flows. Where you put your energy. So if you're putting your energy on all the I can'ts, this is too hard, I don't have enough time, you're going to feed that dog, so to speak. Feed the other dog, feed the positive dog, feed the thoughts, put your thoughts on what you want. What does it look like? What does it feel like? Practice your auto suggestion. See it, feel it over and over again. Get some organized planning, have someone set you up, which you guys are doing. See, you're already doing some of this stuff. Shifting the way you look at things really can help. Rather than looking at how hard things are, find ways to make it easier. Having faith in yourself and in this process. And like I said, the success is not a straight line. So we're going to fall down sometimes. Just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Stay the course. Keep your persistence. Don't let the valley of death screw you up. And you will see the results that you're looking for. And that is it. Oh, that's the wrong email address, by the way. My email address is coach@drinfantino.com. And Dr. Infantino is just that, no dot after doctor. It's just DRINFANTINO. All right, so does anybody have any questions? Anybody have any questions about something else coming up? I think we're going to be talking about travel next week. So bring your questions for that. It's May. It's Happy May Day, everybody, by the way. But
Happy May,
what's that?
Happy May Day to you too.
Thank you. Yeah, so it's spring, it's May, it's the month of Memorial Day, which will kick off, vacation season. I'm going to Hawaii in June, so I'm super excited about that. Yes, very excited. I'm going
Tami, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'm going with my mom, to my sister. She lives out there. So it'll be a good time.
I have a question. I was looking at some ingredients on organic nuts and seeds, and everything was organic, everything in it, but it did say organic sugar. It didn't say it was organic coconut sugar or organic this, or it just said, oh, so what does that mean on a label?
It means it has sugar in it.
Regular
So-
old sugar.
Yes,
Okay,
like when I talked about, when I did the label reading topic, you
right.
know, and there's no like, there's buzzwords that we look for. And organic, we think, oh, if it says organic, it must be good for me. But there is such thing as organic sugar, just like you said, and sugar is not good for us. It's a better version of the regular sugar, I suppose, but it's still going to raise your blood sugars. It's still going to raise your insulin levels. It's still going to wrinkle your skin. It's still going to cause problems in your body. So it's still sugar. And if it was coconut sugar, they'd probably tell you that because it's more
Mhm.
expensive. So they'd be proud. They'd probably announce that on the front. So if they just said organic sugar, it's just regular sugar, but it's organic.
So now that brings me to another question in terms of clean eating. So these are just a little package, and I'm sure the sugar's in the cranberries or the raisins that's in with the nuts. So maybe there's 4 in a little package. Is that something to be concerned about? I'm thinking of traveling, and so these would be, they come from Costco and they're basically organic. And it would be easy to have these little packets for a snack if you're on the road.
Yeah. So if it has 4 grams of sugar, for every 4 grams, that is 1 teaspoon of sugar that you're consuming. So imagine you're taking a teaspoon of sugar every time you eat a packet of that. I mean, that's a psychological visual for you to go, oh my gosh, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Did that on purpose. See what I did there?
That was very good. Well, you just wonder, how do you compare this? And I don't want to turn into some fanatic, but I want to continue.
Right.
Uh,
So
there's
what
well
you're
being
so what
clean.
so what you're looking for, so if it does have dried blueberries or raisins in it, you're looking for the word added sugar. So there's carbohydrates, and under the umbrella of carbohydrates, below that you'll see how many grams of fiber. Below that you'll see how many grams of sugar. Below that you'll see how many grams of added sugar. Below that you'll see any sugar alcohols. It may or may not have any, and it may not even say that if there aren't any. But that's kind of the order in which it goes. But the main thing you want to look for is added sugars. So if it's got dried blueberries in it, there's already naturally occurring sugars in blueberries. You still want to look, because if it's a lot, means there's a lot of blueberries in there and you might not want that much sugar. Craisins, on the other hand, if it's the cranberry raisins, craisins all have added sugars, even if you just buy a packet of those. So if somebody made a trail mix with craisins in it, just know that the craisins also have added sugars. And then if this company that made this packet of trail mix added some sugar, then there's other added sugars. So we got to pay attention, total added sugars. And I'll tell you, some of them are wrong. Some of them don't know how to, and I'm not an expert on that, but sometimes I can go, oh my gosh, this is a well-known company and they don't even know how to, because you can't have 10 carbohydrates and 12 fibers. You can't, it's not possible. It's like saying I only have $1, but I've got 12 dimes. No, I have $1.20, right? So, carbohydrates, fiber is a carbohydrate, but I can't have more fibers than carbohydrates because it is carbohydrate. So,
I have an idea for you. If you shop at Costco, I buy these large bags of organic nuts. They're nothing but the nuts. And you can just make little baggies of those and make your own little packs to stick in your purse or whatever. Then you don't have any other junk in there.
and you know exactly what's in
Costco
it.
is terrible because if you look, they use canola oil in so many things. In fact, I have a problem when I see somebody reaching for the giant bottle of canola oil. I want to tell them, don't buy that. But I'm like, whatever.
It's hard, isn't it?
Sell that garbage, but people buy it.
Is
Yeah.
sunflower oil okay?
It's not the worst of the oils, sunflower, safflower. They're kind of, I asked Dr. Infantino because I wasn't sure either. He says, they're not the best, but they're not the worst. It's the soybean, it's the canola, and it's the vegetable. Those are the bad for sure, never. I hate to say never, but like as much as possible, avoid, right? The sunflower, the safflower. Okay, so the salad dressing had a little in it, but I won't buy that one next time, kind of a thing. We want olive oils, we want avocado oils, those kind of oils are better choices. But Linda's right, like you make your own, that way you can get organic, the nuts that you like, not the nuts that they picked. So if you prefer walnuts to almonds or pecans to whatever, make it all full of pecans, make it the nut that you like, put in the things that you like. And I think it might have been Karen or somebody talked about making her own, which she you put cinnamon and vanilla in a baggie and it, Karen, do you remember that? Was that you?
No, that wasn't me, but I don't know. I remember it, but it wasn't me.
Somebody in the group call once, she said she made her own bag, but she put a little bit of vanilla extract in a bag of almonds and some cinnamon. And you could even add a little bit of stevia or monk fruit, and it kind of sweetens it up. You could add a little salt to that as well if you wanted to. But you could, and again, you make it yourself. So you can make it kind of fun that way too.
I took all my raw nuts, that organic raw nuts that I bought. I used like a tablespoon. I mean, I'm talking several pounds of olive oil and a little bit of salt. And then I roasted them and they were really good. So I did do my own trail mix, but I didn't add any craisins or raisins or any fruit of any kind. It's just the nuts and so that works.
A little side note on dried fruits in general. Think about they're way smaller. So a raisin, I'm obviously exaggerating, a raisin's this big when it's plump and full of moisture. When it turns itself into a raisin, it gets way smaller. None of the sugar left that raisin, that grape, just the size. So a handful of raisins is like 2 handfuls of grapes. So it's easy peasy to overeat the dried fruits, which means you're getting more sugar than you should in one sitting. So just kind of know, I mean, they're travel well, they don't need refrigeration. How nice is that? But when you're putting a percentage of your stuff together to make your trail mix, you know, you want to make your dried fruits small, less amounts, so you don't get stuck with too much sugar in your belly.
Okay.
Bryn, you had something?
Yeah, two things. This is embarrassing. So, and I was writing notes and everything, and then class ended, and I didn't write down your phone number. I mean for the massage therapist. So,
Oh,
so
who was suggesting that yesterday?
um,
Wasn't me. Was that?
I want to say Mary.
Yeah, I don't know that
I was writing down so much that I didn't write down that. Anyway,
person was on the call today.
yeah, yesterday she was. Yeah.
Oh gosh. I'm sorry, I don't remember who was it, but she was going to put it in.
I'll text you. I'll text you about it. Okay. But the other thing is, you were saying May Day, yeah. And I used to live in Maui, so today's May Day, and it's also Lay Day, and so all around Hawaii they're doing, hula contests and dances and big, a lot of special things. So it's always fun to be in Hawaii on May Day, and also this month's full moon, which is on the 23rd, is actually called the flower moon. So it kind of connects all that too.
Oh,
It's on the
wow.
23rd, I think it is. Yeah.
23rd.
Yeah. It's Thursday. Yeah.
What's the full moon in? What sign is it in? Do you know?
Oh, I'm not sure right now.
Okay, full moon.
I can check on that, but
Full moon.
hold on. Let me check on it for you.
Anybody have any other questions?
Have fun in Hawaii with your mother, Tami.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's 85, but she's got some pretty good energy. She can keep up. She'll want to go hiking with us, and she will go.
Whoa. Oh, and do you know to watch for the green flash? Do you know about that? Whenever the sun sets, and it's like, and it's like right when almost like so horizon water, so or mountain. So, but right when it dips into the water, like it's just almost like like the sun's like okay, it's down. There's this like a green
I've heard
flash.
of that. I've
Some
heard
people
of
just
that.
stand there, tourists, and they just like stand there like they're looking at like to watch this like okay, it went down behind the ocean. It's like baby. And sometimes it's more and sometimes it's less, but it's like green flash. Yeah, so
That's
that's fun to
cool.
do.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Can't
Anybody
find
have anything
the
else?
answer.